Hi, welcome to Provisionally Approved. My name's Manel, and what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? A lot, actually. But this is something that the two ladies with me today hear a lot of. And the reason they hear a lot of it is that they both have disabilities. Now, does that disability affect them in life? Not really, I wouldn't say. I've got with me Belinda Mahoney. Marnie. See, what's wrong with me? A lot. You don't even want to know. And Kath Dunkers.
Hey.
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
And basically, these two ladies who are forging stellar careers in the arts. Now, Belinda, you have quite a history of training as an actress and now a singer.
Yeah.
And I believe you've been doing 5 years of acting classes with a lady we both know at Screen Actors in Ascot Vale.
Yeah, I've been doing it. I've been with Belinda Sharp for about 5-6 years now.
And how did you find it when you first started?
I think we looked on the internet and saw it there, and
Okay, because
thought
you were
we'd
pretty
have
good. You had a lot of raw talent, I believe.
yeah, I've been doing acting since I was a teenager, so
So you got a lot of that angst out in your acting.
yeah.
And you're very well spoken. And also, your dad actually got me some of that footage. Came by your singing teacher, but I actually got to see a few of those scenes. And you're like, well, which scenes? Don't worry, not those scenes. You don't want to see those ones. Maybe you do. No, one scene where you play, I believe it's a drug
A
addict.
druggie, yeah.
Yeah, a drug addict. And it was very powerful. It moved me.
Thanks.
I know it was one of your earlier scenes, but we're going to
Yeah.
have a look at that now because we actually have that. So let's see Belinda Mahoney playing a drug addict.
Ma.
What do you want?
Just a couple of minutes.
Oh God, you look terrible.
I was wondering if I could stay home tonight. I really want to wake up, know where the hell I am. It would be really a nice change of pace for me.
I can't do that.
I wouldn't have asked for my options are kind of really limited right now, if you know what I mean.
Julie, we've been through this 100 times.
No, 101, actually.
You conned your way through rehab, you lied, you stole. Look what you've done to the family.
I know! But I just want you to give me a break! I just need you to be my mum for one goddamn second! Help me! I mean, can't you tell when I'm telling you the truth?
No! Trust was the first thing that you ruined.
I know, but there's this guy that I owe a son of money to. I know it might be a bit of a surprise for you, but I'm gonna go in with him and work it out, and and see what we can do and work it out. Something, my life has to change.
Julie, can you stay clean for just 1 week, for one damned week? I mean, you have to help me too.
I'll try.
Terrifying. What? Okay. I don't know what's happening, so I'm just going to go on. Anyway.
The anticipation.
I have no idea what's going on, so we'll see. That was amazing. we're just going to go with like, I thought that was incredibly powerful, and it definitely gave me goosebumps.
Thank you.
I don't know about you. But yeah, since you've progressed with acting, and obviously you always improve when you're an actor, or you find tiny little bits that make it better. And then what would you say are the roles that you'd like to play or you aspire to play as an actress now?
I like playing serious roles, and I don't know. I don't really like Shakespeare that much. So
No,
I
you don't like
can't.
the bard?
No, I can't do that. But yeah, pretty much anything.
Okay, and a
Yeah.
lot of people probably, from me speaking and from seeing Belinda perform, wouldn't realise that you actually were born with a disability.
Yeah.
And would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I was born with a disability called chromosome 10, which means that there's only 30-something in the world, and I'm the only, and I'm the only one in Australia with it.
Really?
Yeah, and
Famous.
thanks.
Well, she's famous. And how does that affect you?
Well, they said to Mum and Dad that I'd never be able to walk or talk, and I learnt to walk and talk by watching The Sound of Music.
Oh, wow. So Julie Andrews?
Julie Andrews, yeah. And Mum and Dad heard this noise coming from my room, and I was singing some songs out of The Sound of Music, and they just couldn't believe it, that it was me making those sounds.
Because I guess they were preparing for the fact that you'd never be able to walk or talk.
No.
And all of a sudden, this little girl can sing.
Yeah.
And that would be quite amazing for them.
Yeah.
And then, so did you just progress from learning from movies?
Yeah, learn from movies and see how they act and try and copy their expressions and stuff like that. And yeah, and so I became to sing when I think I was about 3 or 4 when I started little words like a mama, a dada, I don't know, a duck, stuff like that. And
So you're definitely very determined.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you never probably knew what they'd said about you because you were a kid. You don't know. And I would say that you've got a lot of determination. And do you think because you learnt from movies and musicals, that's what, I guess, inspired you to pursue acting and singing?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's how you learnt.
Yep.
It's how you, yeah.
Yeah.
And are the doctors amazed by how you progressed?
Yeah, well, they just can't believe it. They, a lot of chromosomes in my head that are missing, and therefore I shouldn't be able to walk. I shouldn't be walking or talking.
And you managed to walk up those flights of stairs to our studio. So that in itself shows that you can walk.
Yeah.
So, and you don't feel any different. No, at all. From when I
No.
speak to you, you seem fine. So with acting, how did you progress from acting to singing? Because you've had quite a lot of compliments in the press, I've seen.
Thanks.
You've been called like the brightest star, and an amazing find, and
Thank you.
ready, waiting in the wings apparently for your
Thank you.
stardom. So
Thank you.
what made you progress into singing?
I just wanted to be like my idols, like Barbara Streisand, Judy Garland, Elvis Presley, Julie Andrews,
So because they sang, you wanted to sing.
Yeah.
And what was your first singing experience like?
I think when Mum and Dad saw me in my room, I think I was humming the words to my favourite things.
Okay, so you probably were born to sing in a way.
Yeah.
And you've performed a lot, because I've seen you perform in a
Yeah.
few places.
Yeah, I've performed a few
How do you
places.
feel when you're performing live to all these people, when like you were told you couldn't walk or talk, and now you can sing and inspire people? Because when I see you sing, it inspires me.
Thank you.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel good when I'm on stage. I feel better on stage than when I'm off stage, to tell you the truth. I'm a different person.
Okay, well, we actually have some footage from Belinda. where she recently had a role in a funded series. It's a pilot, I think, the first episode of that series. It's called What's Wrong With You.
100%.
What's frogs got to do with a disability?
No, I don't mind.
Okay, cool. Hang on. I'm sorry. And that was Belinda Mahoney in What's Wrong With You. Now that was just a tiny couple of scenes, unfortunately, because it's still in editing process. How did you feel playing that character, Nina? Because you were really good. I thought you were really amazing.
I think so. I felt like I could have done a bit more roles than I did, but you know, being asked was a pleasure.
And I believe I have with me a lady who actually made that happen. And we'll come back to like your experience and What's Wrong With You. I've got with me Kath Duncan.
Hey.
She's had an incredible career in the arts. And you are officially, I believe you said, I call you an amputee. Is that
Yes,
correct?
I'm an amputee from birth.
From birth.
Yes.
So from birth,
Yes.
tell me a little bit about yourself. How you...
Well, I'm ancient now. I am 55.
She's not ancient.
I grew up in Sydney, and I was born with approximately half my left arm and half my right leg. So I get around on a prosthetic leg.
And a scooter.
Yes, and a great scooter that's out the back there. I think I was 6 when I first started doing drama classes with a neighbour who was an actor, and just always really liked it. They struggled learning my lines, you know, like most of us. But I'm a terrible singer, terrible. But in terms of...
But you sing in the shower.
Everybody sings in the shower. And the car.
Only if I don't have to hear myself. And, but I've always been attracted to the arts, and whether that's been, in my case, performance or radio. I was a radio journalist for many years, working in TV. Yeah, I've kind of worked across the sort of spectrum. But the reason that Belinda and I know each other is that there's an organisation in Melbourne called Disability Media Australia, and they ran the series No Limits for many years. And I think it was 2013 or 2014, they got this funding for this like wild idea, 6 25-minute shows that were disability sketch comedy. So the Community Broadcasting Foundation gave them, you know, a certain amount of money that they asked for to make this series. And it must have been early last year after, because I'd produced the No Limits series the year before that, and the executive of Disability Media Australia asked me to produce this 6 shows that I was just like, oh my God, that is just so much work. And I said, well, look, what I'd like to do is to take it to the halfway point. So I ended up getting called head writer.
Yeah,
You're in this circumstance, we had to create... They wanted, so across the 6 shows, they wanted 6 3-minute-ish sketches each. So it ended up being 6 by 36 sketches. So we had to source that much writing material. And it ended up being this really amazing collaboration, actually, because a lot of writers out there in the world don't work with disabled people, and a lot of disabled people don't work with writers. So I rang around and got 9 of my disabled performer buddies. And then, my God, what we did, because we were thinking, where do we get these writers from, you know? And our executive producer, his name's Greg D, he said, oh, don't worry about it. Just put an ad on Arts Hub. Writers are starving. They'll be dying to do. Well, he was right. I couldn't believe it. Like, out of the woodwork, there were like 12 different writers.
Now, this isn't going to go to air until next, I think it's next half of next year, this year.
You mean the What's Wrong With You series?
Yeah, so how...
Look, I haven't had an air date yet.
Yeah.
But don't we have to get it in before...
Well, before it closes.
Yeah.
Before it goes
Isn't
off
that
air.
December this year?
So it has to...
I think they're really, really working on a really tight schedule.
Did you meet Belinda? You met Belinda because of the show? Or
No,
did you know her
we just
before?
met tonight.
We just met tonight.
Look, it's just like bigger than Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
So because we had sort of, you know, the 9 different groups where I matched a disabled performer up with a writing team, so they were writing for somebody. You know, so you're not inventing some 30-year-old with red hair, 1 leg, and, you know, and all the rest
From what
of
I
it.
understand, Belinda came in and replaced somebody, from what I heard from Kath.
Yeah, we're still kind of trying to work that out.
Kath said she had another actress to play her, and that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told that this
that
other
Belinda
girl
came
was
in.
was supposed to do it, and she had a machine. She was talking to machine.
Yes, that's
Is that how
Neve.
yeah.
Yeah. See, so Neve was part of the original team, but because production takes so long, like, you know, this whole process started early last year. So it's been a whole year, which for me in TV land is nothing, you know, particularly for like making a series of drama. But, you know, people's circumstances change.
Yeah.
So we had, you know, Neve's script sitting there. We just need to kind of match them up with other performers.
Okay, so
And-
how have you found your experience on the set? Because I know you did a rehearsal again for another episode with this series. How have you found it
It's good.
from what you know of it? 'Cause
Yeah,
there's not
it's
much
funny.
to know. Yeah.
Funny.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny. But
That's important.
there's a few swearing words in it, which my mum and dad, well, they don't swear, so, you know, they
Goodness.
No, they don't swear. They found it. I don't know.
Oh, your parents don't swear,
No.
but you learnt from the movies.
Yeah,
That's
well,
how you learn
I can
everything.
swear, but they're not as swearing people. But but they're happy for me, and you know, I appreciate being on the show and having this opportunity. You know.
Yeah, and then from that, more opportunities will hopefully come about. Now, how do you ladies feel? There's been a lot lately about minorities, a lot about, I think the Oscars got really up in arms about no black actors being
Yeah.
nominated.
Oscar's too white, I think.
And then I think also there's been a lot about transgenders recently.
Transgender people.
Well, I mean, not transgenders, but transgenders being represented fairly.
Authentically.
Yes, authentically, as in they play their own roles.
Yep.
But there's never anything about actors with disabilities or performers with disabilities being able to play their own roles. It seems like any actor that plays a disability
Gets an
immediately
Oscar.
gets an Oscar or accolades and their career goes up.
Yep.
Yeah.
But there seems to be like you guys are a very, I wouldn't say the elephant in the room, but they definitely don't mention it, do they? It's not something that ever comes up.
Well, we mention it a lot. I mean, you know, among my circles of, you know, disabled performers, we're always sort of railing about this and about authentic
Yeah.
casting. And in fact, there are organisations around Australia and then around the world that are arguing for authentic casting, and we protest movies and so forth. And we are a burgeoning movement, you know, but because disability has been, you know, in modern times perceived as being inherently negative, it means that all of us who are performers have got to kind of fight against this classic overwriting schedule. I mean, it's sort of like I just appear on stage and already people are jumping to conclusions about me.
Yeah.
In the same way that they might culturally about you, perhaps. You know, like this sort of like reading of the body that happens. And it's not always how you want to be read. You might want to be.
I found out I have an Arabic name now
There you
and
go.
a French name. So
You might just want to be, you know, the daughter of the king who's about to kill her husband or whatever the character is. But instead they're going, oh, look at that. It's
I actually do act, and I've had a lot of issues with not being ethnic enough to play ethnic roles. Believe it or not,
gosh.
I know it's amazing, and it's actually, you'll laugh when I tell you, the roles I get cast in are the blonde beach girl. I'm not kidding you. Like I've learned Indian accents, I've learned Arabic accents, I've really like tried because I've trained and not got the roles. And yet I went for a role for an RACV commercial that was literally just like 4 friends hanging out at the beach and about safe driving. Got it.
Well done.
And then like my agents are like, oh, you're right. Because I'm like, just don't put me up for ethnic roles. I have to learn all this stuff and I don't get it. Just don't get the role.
You know, and I think we're talking about a few things there. I mean, there's no doubt that the
Yeah.
Australian film industry, or whether it's even the Australian commercial industry, is a lot smaller
But I
than
find-
industries in other parts of the world.
I do find with Belinda, to me, I think you're quite similar to me, I would say. I don't see you as having a disability. I haven't seen Kath perform, so that's different. You know what I mean? If I'd seen you perform, I'd be able to.
My piece isn't very funny.
I've never
I think.
seen you perform. you never got hold. Anyway, she's very much a socialite, this Kath lady. But with
I get
Belinda,
around, you know.
she reminded me of Rebel Wilson when I saw her.
Oh.
And I had and she's
Really?
doing quite well, that
Oh,
lady.
that fabulous blonde. She's now in LA. What's that film
She's in
got
Pitch
out at the moment?
Perfect, and Pitch Perfect 2, like biggest opening, I think, like one of the biggest openings for
Yeah, the
the
Aussie
first
chick.
sequel. She was in Bogan something or other too. Rebel World. No, yeah. But
Yeah.
She was in an SBS show about bogans.
Oh,
She was,
no, I don't know.
We have said
I
it.
don't think.
She's been in heaps of movies. She's in that one. Cameron Diaz is
Yeah.
da-da-da with the guy. She's the
Yeah, I know
southern
it's Rebel
cousin,
Wilson.
the Bogan cousins or whatever they
Yeah.
are.
So you reminded me of her, and I
can see why,
I don't
actually.
really see you as having a disability, but you actually got discriminated recently, of all things, by a casting agent, where you went for a role in a TV commercial.
Yeah, well, so they, my agent rang me, and so I went to the audition. They wanted to know my age, my height, my size, and my agent. And I went there, and they told me to turn around in a black dress, not saying anything. And so I did, and then I went home, and my agent rang my mum, and said that we don't take people with disabilities.
How
And
did you know you had a disability, though? She asked you?
She didn't. My agent didn't tell these ladies that I had a disability, so they just didn't have me. They didn't want
And
me.
this was a TV commercial that had you couldn't even see her face.
No.
I think they go for, in my experience of TV commercials, they film for 4 hours.
Yeah.
You're lucky if you film that 4 hours. You probably film an hour and a half. There was probably no reason for
No.
me to discriminate against you at all.
No.
What was
yeah.
the product? What was it?
I can't tell the name.
Because see, this is where I think
Can't tell the name.
Yeah.
You think
this is where we have to get proactive. I really, really think so. That we should find out who that was and run it around the sort of people and try and boycott that product. I really think we have to start. We can't just sit back and go, oh, maybe one day they'll notice that I'm quite a good performer. I really think we have to be really proactive with this.
Well,
and run
I
with it.
agree with you 100%. And Belinda is being proactive about this. She actually has recorded an album that's coming out soon. And I have some old footage. I have all this old footage of you that your dad got me, but it's really good. And if you watch this footage of her singing, where were you singing? You're singing at some function. I know that much.
Which one?
It's where you sing I Still Call Australia Home.
Oh, that one. I think that was on the Gold Coast at some.
Because the Gold Coast isn't
hotel.
Australia.
Yeah, in Australia.
Was it for businesses or was
Yeah,
it
for I was ambassador for the Queensland Variety Club for Queensland, and they help people with disabilities and advantaged people.
Yeah. And we actually have a clip of her singing. So here is Belinda Mahoney, I got it right, singing I Still Call Australia Home.
It's good to know where your journey ends, but someday we'll all be together once more, when all of the ships come back to the shore. I realize something I've always known. I still call Australia home.
Oh, it's gone too quickly, darling.
I
Too
know,
know.
wow. That was amazing, Belinda. That gave me goosebumps seeing you sing. And also the way you managed to get the crowd going. But ladies, I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think what we should be asking is what is wrong with everyone else for not hiring these beautiful people who can act probably better than most people who are Neighbours. I didn't say that. I can say that, it's YouTube. But thank you so much for joining us. It's been amazing. Belinda Mahoney has an album coming out. We're going to link you to her webpage once we have this up.
Thank
And
you.
Kath has a show, I believe.
Yeah,
coming
towards
up
the end of June.
Yeah.
At Richmond Theaterette.
So that'll be
Called
great.
Clippings,
And we will
Secrets.
also link you to that if we can. So thank you, ladies, for joining me. It's been amazing.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us as well. We'll be back next week on Provisionally Approved.
Bye.